French President Emmanuel Macron signed into law this weekend a deeply unpopular bill to raise the state pension age. The move infuriating citizens and unions who have gone on strike and taken to the streets in protest for months, and, despite not having a majority in parliament, pushed the bill through without a final vote. Satluj TV takes a closer look. A frenzy of French police in the city of Rennes, firing tear gas and water cannons at protesters in an effort to quell an uprising that began in October. The French trade union coalition refusing to meet with President Macron this week and vowing new protests if the bill is not tossed out. And this announcement by the union coalition confirms what we've been hammering at for weeks and weeks. You cannot govern a country against its people. Emmanuel Macron cannot continue to lead the country if he does not withdraw this reform. The French Constitutional Court paved the way for Macron's plan Friday to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. The president says these changes are needed to avoid billions of euros of deficit each year by the end of the decade. During a recent visit to the Netherlands, Macron told a gathering of French expats that he is willing to pay the price for making necessary changes. And when we change our agricultural model, when we shake up the economic model in order to cope with demographic change, technological change, and the legitimate fight against climate change, we have to support these changes, and sometimes we have to accept controversy. Back in Paris during a visit to Notre Dame Cathedral, the president seeming unfazed by the unrest as he helped mark the 4-year anniversary since a fire tore through the historic landmark. While tempers rage in the streets below, some French citizens are taking a more tranquil approach. I think that this reform, whether it is good or not, should have been postponed and, above all, not promulgated because the consequences will be terrible from a political point of view. Others, like Marion Tabaran, are hopeful things will change still. But indeed, given that I'm only 31 today, it's in the distant future and I expect there will be additional reforms by then. Unions argue extra funding can be found elsewhere, like increasing taxes on the rich. Meanwhile, hours after the president signed the bill, the country's prime minister says the government will press ahead with more reforms in order to build a country that guarantees equal opportunity.
Mes chers amis, nous traversons une période complexe.
Dear friends, we are going through a complex period. Yesterday, the Constitutional Council validated the essence of the pension reform, and we have therefore reached the end of its democratic path. Today, there is no winner or loser. It is a difficult reform, I know. A reform that requires efforts from many of our fellow citizens. I am aware of that, but it is a reform that takes into account everyone's situation, a reform that is necessary to guarantee the future of our pay-as-you-go system.
Une réforme nécessaire pour garantir l'avenir de notre système par répartition.
The legislation is due to take effect September 1st. Meanwhile, unions have called workers to turn out in force for marches on Labor Day, May 1st. Macron is expected to make a televised address Monday evening. For more headlines and late-breaking stories, head to satlujnetwork.com. I'm Layla Gulen. Thank you for watching.